everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me today. So I wanted to address a few questions that I get quite frequently between my different channels. And one of them happens to be around waste and what do I do with all my extra paint or leftover paint, or if there's a particular pour that has a ton of drips around the edges, like if I've had to tilt it and stuff and I get a lot of paint on the table. People ask me what I do with that, what I do with all the waste, how do I save products, reuse things, etc., etc. So I thought I would address some of those things today. So myself personally, I use plastic cups, so I do have to throw them away, but I make quite a bit of paint in them at a time so that I can keep using the colors. And I save the cup and I just use Glad Press and Seal and put it over top. Awesome, because it's so good and strong. If you don't have a stir stick in it, if you spill it, I have spilt them and they actually stay and they didn't spill paint out. So that was really nice, as long as you catch it right away, obviously. But that's how I kind of keep all my leftover paint, and then it's good for a long time because I use distilled water. It's not going to go bad, it's not going to mold, anything like that. So some of the paints I have in here could be a month, 2 months old. Just got to give them a good mix, maybe add a few drops of water, fix your consistency, things like that. So this happens to be all of the leftover paint I have from the last couple of weeks of pours and pieces that I've done. These three guys at the front here are leftover drips or scrapes from the table, or if I didn't like a piece of art that I was doing and I scraped the canvas, I would scrape it into a cup. That way I can save the paint. Doesn't make the nicest colors all the time. You know, lots of times you get these muddy grays or brown grays, things like that. But if you need a flow extender or things like that, it can be advantageous to keep all of that. And that way you're not throwing any of it out. As you can see here too, I don't use popsicle sticks for mixing. I use these reusable sticks that I got from Crystal Resin. They come in packs of 6. They're a bit expensive, 25 bucks for a pack of 6. But I mean, I've used these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. So all I do when I take it out of the painted cup, or the cup of paint, is wipe it off on a piece of paper towel, throw it into a cup of water just to let it sit for a little bit. And when I'm ready to clean them, I've just got a little bit of isopropyl, I can't say that word properly, alcohol here, 90%. Just give it a quick 1-2 little spritzes and wipe it off with a paper towel, and they're perfectly clean, and I can reuse them for resin, for acrylic paint, for whatever I want. So that's been really nice to get away from popsicle sticks. So now the only thing I ever use popsicle sticks for, and it's really just to use up my leftover popsicle sticks that I had bought from the dollar store previously, is just kind of for scraping the edges of paintings, or if I need to level canvases, things like that. And then I reuse those lots too. So that's been really nice to cut down on a lot of the waste that way. All of my water, like distilled water and things, I just use a dollar squeeze bottle from the dollar store. Same for my pouring medium mix if I ever use that. So really nice and cheap ways. I get a lot of these supplies from the dollar store, obviously except for these stir sticks, but the cups too, I get them from the dollar store as well. They have recycled ones there, made from recycled products, so quite often I'll use those ones, and they're super cheap, so that's fine. It helps me keep the waste down and keep the supply costs down as well. Now, what am I going to do with all of this paint? It's a hodgepodge of different colors, and it's not like I could just throw all of this together in one painting. That would be wild for me. I wouldn't like that. So what I typically will do at this point, if nothing is standing out to me of, oh, okay, I'm going to separate this and use just these colors in a painting, which is not really standing out to me like that right now, then I will start kind of mixing some of the colors together, because certain ones I only have a little tiny bit left, right? I've only got maybe 1.5 ounces or so in the cup there. And same with the umber beside it. So those two would mix together nice and make a nice light brown if I wanted to, or, you know, the purple and the copper that I have here mixed together, make a really beautiful color. Or same even with this violet oxide and the copper, the red and the copper. I could throw the red and the purple together if I wanted, or the red and this violet oxide. I could even throw the blue into the purple and lighten it up a bit. You can do all kinds of things. I could throw this yellowish orange in with the red and make a really nice bright orange. can do all kinds of things. Just kind of at my discretion what I choose to do at this point. Lots of options, obviously. These pours, a lot of the times I have a plan for when I'm pouring. You know, there's an image that's been in my head and I'm trying to recreate it on a canvas, or just, you know, a color that's really inspired me that week, or whatever the case is. But when it comes down to something like this, I tend to fly a little more seat of my pants and just kind of wing it, I guess we'll say, and just see what happens. And usually they turn out really well. I've had quite a few flops, but again, that's when I would just scrape the canvas and throw it back into the cup and reuse that at a later time. So now I'm just going to sit and think, what do I want to do with these colors? I've got a good large cup of white, so that could make for a good base on something if I wanted to do a Dutch pour. All of these are very, very thinned out already because they were all used for Dutch pours. So that is something I also have to take into consideration, is the consistency of the paints already as they are. And these ones have all been used in Dutch pours. So I will have to use them in either a Dutch or a chaos pour, because I don't want to mix up any more paint right at the moment. I would like to try and get rid of as much of this as I can. So I think what I am going to do, I love the purple and copper together. So I think I'm just going to do that. You know what? I'm actually going to do it into the copper cup. These two together just make such a beautiful color. Let's see this. Let me give it a quick stir. So it'll need, you know, a good 10-20 minutes of stirring, mix all that up because it is older paint. So there's some goopies and stuff in it that'll just need to mix out, but it'll make this beautiful, beautiful color. Let me get the rest of that purple out of there. Don't want to waste any. There. Now I've got a good empty cup, and then I just throw those out. I have got some cups that I've been using that I can just peel the paint out of, but I don't have enough of them to use regularly. In between like drying basically and giving them the time to dry and allow me to reuse them right away again, because I mix up so much paint at a time and I'm doing so many videos and stuff and so many pieces for you guys that I don't really have time to let it all dry in between necessarily. So these cups just, they work really well for me. And like I said, I mean, you get, I think 20 of them for $1.25, something like that. So works really well for me. Okay, so that's going to be a real nice color. Now I'm thinking with this violet oxide, we could add this bright red to it and just liven that up. There. Mix that up. And that'll give me just a nice dark red. And that'll go well next to that copper and purple mix together. So those two will look really nice together, and those will look really nice on a background of white. So that's what I can do for that there. And then I've got this guy, which I'm just going to leave as it is because this is just gold and pearl white mixed together. So that'll go real nice with that as well. Now, just trying to decide if I do want to add one of these other colors in. I don't think so. I think I may just do those three together. I'm debating on maybe throwing in a little bit of the umber. That might look nice. Yeah, let's do that. Good. So I'll use up quite a few of these. I won't use all of it, obviously, because a lot of these cups have now filled up and they're a lot bigger, but now I can use those in other paintings. I can build some palettes around some of these colors to intentionally try and use them, but at least it will help me get rid of the rest of this umber, and then put a dent in some of those. So now I am just left with all of these. I do have a plan to do some kind of like a ring pour, straight pour, something like that, where I would be tilting so I could use a flow extender. So I will just keep those for that. So I will probably just combine them all together, and kind of who cares what color they make. I'll just continue to use it as a flow extender and not worry about the weird muddy color that it'll make. And then all I have left is these three guys. These two will certainly look nice next to each other. I can figure out a way, I'm sure, to put another color with these and build something that I could make a beautiful painting out of those. So that's kind of the way that I do, you know, sort of my leftovers, how I figure that out. I just sit down and sort of, like I said, off the seat of my pants, don't really have a plan going into it, but just kind of make one on the spot and see what happens. So now what I'll have to do here is just kind of sit and, you know, make sure these colors are nice and mixed up, the consistency is good, do a drip test, and then I will be able to go ahead and do a pour with that. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any other questions, please do let me know. I am happy to address any kinds of issues that you may be having or questions you have, anything like that. I am thinking of continuing my primary series pour, but expanding on it and doing a kind of just color wheel inspired series. I really like the effect that I got with doing the different backgrounds of the primary colors, and was thinking, you know, hey, I like to talk about colors and what they mean and how they make me feel. So I think maybe that I might do a series on kind of some of the backgrounds of color, where it came from, what it, you know, spiritually means, or all of those kind of different things, right? Color represents a lot of different things. So maybe that's something that we could discuss and chat about in a future video. But yeah, if there's any other topics you would like to hear me cover, please drop me a comment below. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you guys back on the next video.